And one thing that I tell people is sometimes it's okay to not be okay, even though it's very difficult. And that's one reason why you will walk away from this process stronger than you've ever been, because you have to build resilience in order to heal from trauma. Welcome. So in this video, we're going to be talking about 7 things you'll discover whenever you're healing trauma. Now, before we get into this, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jordan Hardgrave. I once suffered with extreme trauma, anxiety, panic, depersonalization, realization, emotional numbness, existential obsession, health anxiety, and so many other things for many years. I was able to fully heal using a body-based strategy, and I created the Trauma Free Academy so you can heal too and experience post-traumatic growth, which is where you actually walk away stronger than whenever you first started. So if you are suffering with those things, make sure to click the subscribe button. Also, make sure to click like if this helps you. Comment something below if you have any questions, as well as if you would like to work with me and my team to help you heal from trauma and all the symptoms that I mentioned. There's a link below to apply to our 12-week mentorship called Rise Unlimited, and it is 12 weeks of unlimited access to me where I can help walk you step by step through how to fully beat these symptoms, how to rewire your nervous system so you don't just become symptom free, but you stay symptom free. All right, the first thing that we need to do is we need to define what trauma is. And I don't want to take too much time because I could talk about this for 10 hours because I'm a trauma nerd, but trauma is a body that is constantly preparing for a threat that never comes, right? It's not the traumas of your past that are causing symptoms in your present. It is your brain's perception of threat in the here and now where there is no threat that is causing symptoms in the present. You're experiencing sensory data that is similar to painful things from your past, and it's confusing your nervous system. It's making your nervous system believe that there's a lion trying to eat you. And the symptoms are simply your body and your mind and your nervous system trying to help you overcome what they believe is existential threat. And so thus, healing from trauma is really body focused. It's about showing your body that you're safe. So anyway, with that foundational understanding of what trauma is, the first thing that you will discover on your journey of healing trauma is that the symptoms are not the problem like you thought. What we're told is that the symptoms are the problem. All the thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and symptoms associated with fight, flight, freeze response. We're told that you have this problem, right, that you're just going to have to manage for the rest of your life. And we pathologize people. I don't do this, but I'm saying we as a society, we make people believe that they're broken. We give them all these labels, and then we tell them that the best that they're going to be able to do is just manage their symptoms. Well, I can tell you, for one, as somebody who is completely symptom-free and who has been for many years, and who has also helped many other people become symptom-free, that I don't believe that. But also, if you look at what people like Dr. Peter A. Levine are saying, world-renowned trauma expert, he says that trauma is a fact of life, but it does not have to be a life sentence. He also says that human beings are born with an innate capacity to triumph over trauma. So I believe that we can heal from trauma. We can get our body out of fight, flight, freeze response, but we have to know the conditions for our body to heal itself. Our body knows how to heal itself, but we have to create the conditions, and that's really what healing is all about. But if you think the symptoms are the problem, you're trying to fix something that is actually biologically correct for the state that you're in. That's like trying to get exhaust smoke to shut off in a car whenever all you really need to do is shut off the engine. It's appropriate. It's correct to have exhaust smoke if the engine is turned on. We need to shut off the engine, which is all about, in this case, changing what's happening in your body. Number 2, you're going to discover that you are way more out of tune with your body than you thought. One of the first things that I do with people is I teach them something called interoception, which is the experience of the embodied self. I teach them techniques that allow them to start to get in tune with what's happening in their body in real time. And at first, most people don't have much interoception at all. They're always living in their head, and they've checked out of their body, and that doesn't make them bad people. That was me for years. But what it does mean is it's going to take time to start to get back into the body. Usually, interoception opens up progressively. It'll open up just a little bit at a time. I know for me, it started with my legs, and then it kind of spread to other parts of my body. I used something called progressive muscle relaxation to kind of help get in tune with my body. I would slowly squeeze different muscle groups and then relax them. But anyway, you're going to realize that you live in your head almost all the time. Maybe you're obsessing over your health. Maybe you're obsessing over existence. Maybe you're obsessing over the past or the future, or you're just daydreaming with all these catastrophic scenarios, or maybe you're a gamer, or maybe you get on TikTok all day. You're going to find that you're doing all kinds of things to numb your body as well as to check out from your body by living in your head. Number 3, you're going to realize specifically that you have more muscle tension than you thought. When people first come to me, they tell me, oh, no, I don't have any muscle tension. Most of the time. Sometimes people are aware of it, but they're like, no, that doesn't really sound like me. And I'm like, you just can't feel it right now. Traumatized people don't think that they have tension in their bodies because they are somatically dissociated. They are constantly living in their head. And so once you start to build interoception, I know for me, it was like, like what the heck is going on here? Like, I didn't know all this stuff was going on, all this tension, energy, and emotion. Number 4, you're going to realize that you are less resilient than you thought. Resilience is your ability to bounce back. You can think of it like elasticity in a rubber band. And what's happened to you is you've gone through a lot of very painful experiences, and your brain created all these sensory and somatic triggers, which meant that your body started to go into fight, flight, freeze response all throughout the day. And it just became harder and harder for you to get back up when you fell down with something that was difficult, because now to get back up, you're also carrying the weight of all this tension, energy, and emotion in your body. Just like if you stretch a rubber band over and over and over again, eventually it's going to have a hard time bouncing back to its original position. And eventually it'll just stay stretched out. And so part of what I do with people is resilience training, right? You have to learn to stand back up and get back up, even though it's very difficult. And that's one reason why you will walk away from this process stronger than you've ever been, because you have to build resilience in order to heal from trauma. The next thing that you're going to discover is that you avoid way more than you thought. Some people come to me and they say, oh, I don't avoid anything. I've just kept living my life as normal and I still have all these symptoms. And I tell them, you may not be physically avoiding sensory triggers, but you are interoceptively avoiding sensory triggers. And what I mean by that is you're physically present, but you're interoceptively absent. You're not experiencing what's happening in your body, and you're up here. So you technically are still avoiding the sensory trigger. But some people, in fact, most people that come to me, they are usually entirely physically avoiding the sensory trigger. So maybe social situations, maybe even going outside for some people becomes really triggering for them, but they've got all these sensory triggers that they get relief from through complete avoidance of them. And you're going to start to realize, wait, I'm avoiding a lot more than I think that I am. The next thing, number 6, you're going to discover that you suppress your emotions a lot more than you thought. A big thing that I'm doing now with people is emotional processing sessions, and I really help them get the emotions to peak and then come down. That's how emotions process. But what happens is we feel these emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's crying, or any negative emotion, and we stuff it. We push it down. No, I can't experience it. No, I got to be tough. I got to be positive. And one thing that I tell people is sometimes it's okay to not be okay. Like, the way that you process emotion is you feel the emotion. You have to face it and feel it instead of running from it and numbing it. This is very essential because emotions are experienced in the form of physical sensations in the body. And if you don't allow the emotions to peak and come down, all those negative physical sensations, tension, and other things are getting trapped in your body. And there's some sort of sensory trigger that keeps activating that negative emotion, and it's trying to peak and process and come down, but you just keep stuffing it unless it gets trapped in your body. So the 7th and last thing that you're going to discover whenever you're healing from trauma is that you have way less boundaries than you thought. Boundaries with people, boundaries with just knowing your limits. Right? I always tell people, you're only one person. You only have so much energy per day. And a big thing that I have to help people break is people pleasing. Like, we should be kind to people. We should love people. But we also need to know when to say no to people. You don't have to say the word no, but you have to know your limits. You have to stop pushing your body beyond what you have energy for. That's one layer as to why people end up in a state of nervous system overwhelm, which is what a trauma state is because they don't know how to say no. They say yes to everybody. And also another factor is they're connected to really toxic or even abusive people. And so sometimes we have to set up boundaries with people if they're toxic, or if possible, just get them out of their life. And if they're abusive, we definitely need to get them out of your life. In fact, I've got 3 people in our mentorship right now that a big part of what we're doing in this kind of phase of coaching at the beginning is getting them out of toxic or abusive relationships, because it creates what's called a nervous system war zone, which is an environment that is highly chaotic, highly punitive, highly unpredictable, highly aggressive, or highly unstable. And it makes it to where you can't downregulate your nervous system. So anyway, those are the 7 things. Make sure to click like if this helped you. Share this video with anybody that you think it would help. Comment something below. Once again, there's an application below to work with me and my team if you want my help healing from trauma and all its associated symptoms. I hope that you have an awesome day. Talk to you soon.